sound in the dedication. Heathen defiled with their lies and abominations. Prepare for war, gather round for the dedication.
Remember the law, kingdom is ours. Dragon is raw, be coming for all. Nations gonna fall, get ready for war. Strong in the Lord, and if I fall, then pick up my sword, you killing them all. Blood on the floor, get ready for war. Rah, rah, 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 get ready for war.
This is the day we prepared. The time is coming, you scared? Pass me the sword over there. I do me in blood everywhere.
Father, teach me your ways before the Lord takes you away. Told me be bold like a lion. This is a war, somebody dying.
Never give up, never give in. This is a fight, we're destined to win. Strike the enemy, aim for the head. May they rise up never again.
Hit him again and again, I can't show no mercy. The people we gotta defend, give them 100%, gotta be worthy.
I know that you're listening. You must remain humble and disciplined. You must keep the hunger and vigilance and execute punishment vengeance.
I must apply when I'm older. Know that the time's getting colder. Pushing this weight on my shoulders. Get light with the sword of the host.
Remember, my avenger, you're a fighter, a defender. For your father, a contender. For the body and its members.
Listen as you teach, I meditate. Until we walk through heaven gates. I'm ready to fight, won't hesitate. For the Lord, my life, I'ma dedicate.
Dedicate, then you will elevate. Remember your father in heaven, no surrogate. Sharpen your sword on the stone for in heaven. Remove all that leather, get ready, don't hesitate. We in the battle, skedaddle or detonate. Remember your stock, get it poppin', then decimate. We are the sons of the prophets, no featherweight. Built for this battle, revive what they desecrate.
I'm ready for war, ready to bloody my sword, ready to kick in the door, ready forever. The devil been bringing, I seen that you did it, I'm ready to soar. I'm packing my Bible, got everything with me, I want her to give me, I heard it before. I gotta put in this work for my people, there eagles, I'm ready to roar.
You ready to roar? Ain't for his head. Nah, it ain't dead if his blood isn't shed. Bet he gon' pay for the day when he begged him to raise and he raced off our faces instead. Woo! Fire from heaven, no threats. Edom gon' need him a rest. Sword through his crest, call her relieving my stress. We end in his name nonetheless.
I am a son of a leader. I'm trying to part me a Peter. I heard what you said, but these demons ain't ready. I don't need a mic, I need readers. Ready to battle whatever, whoever can get it. Let's think of what Bishop he needs to pull up and beat us the block. Cause you know that this how many heathens can never defeat us. We are the leaders.
Wait, hey. Boy, you gon' have your day. Swinging and slinging that sword. Better remember that it cut both ways. Better fix your face, cause this race ain't cake. Yeah, be humble, don't step out your place. Your patience possessing your soul. Remember, no foe, cause the king on the way.
The king on the way, and I can't wait. All of these heathens gon' vacate. We coming with vengeance, so Lord put up in we giving new meanings to May. They pull up and shut up whoever is tripping. Submit my victim with scripture. They give them the business, don't get it, I'm ready. Ready ain't nothing, I'm petty. I'm slicing up better than Nettie.
Remember the law, kingdom is ours. Dragon is raw, be coming for all. Nations gonna fall, get ready for war. Strong in the Lord, and if I fall, then pick up my sword, you killing them all. Blood on the floor, get ready for war. Rah, rah, 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 get ready for war.
Prepare for war, gather round for the dedication. Prayers to the Lord, trumpet sound in the dedication. Heathen defiled with their lies and abominations. Prepare for war, gather round for the dedication. Prepare for war, gather round for the dedication. Prayers to the Lord, trumpet sound in the dedication. Heathen defiled with their lies and abominations. Prepare for war, gather round for the dedication.
And it happened.
Alexander the Greek took the earth like a captain. Killed the king of Persia, caught him slipping like he napping. The whole earth quiet before this man, he had power. Winning all them wars, lift his heart up like a tower. Then he got sick, called his men, split the kingdom. Crowns upon their head, but they multiplied evil. Wicked Israelites made a covenant with heathens. They doing the same thing right now, I can't believe. Gentiles had them scared, Antiochus took Egypt. Next stop Jerusalem, he about to test the people. They took the showbread, golden altar, and menorah. All of this keep happening cause we keep breaking Torah. Antiochus went back to his lane with to celebrate. 2 years later he put fire to them heaven gates. Burnt Jerusalem down, took out women and he made them slaves. Letter from the king, everybody want people. So if you follow laws that ain't the king's, you better leave them. But if we leave our laws, then our God gonna leave us. Many Israelites went to Father when they heeded, sacrificing swine on the altar, stopping us from doing the burnt and the drink offering, profaning the Sabbath, knowing that it's gonna cost us. If we don't do these laws, it's gonna cost us. But the spirit of Maccabees, if you wanna keep these laws and commandments, follow me. It's the spirit of Maccabees. If you wanna keep these laws and commandments, follow me. Yeah, hey, ain't no time for compromise. Need to show thyself a man. The heathens doing the same tricks, they about to do it all again. We going to war on Shabbat, tell the heathens we ain't playing. If you serious about them laws, out together we can stand. Don't be scared of the multitude, he go intervene. It ain't about the numbers, about power from Shemaim. Allah Bahadam, Allah with the Malakim. Power in the blood, power with the mighty king. Back to the story, they want war after war. Got the land back, but the land was so torn. Ash upon their heads and they even ripped their gum. Got the land back, but the land was so torn. So they dedicated the sanctuary, built new altars. It might not be perfect, but we still keeping our culture. Go get that menorah, put them lights up in that temple. About to give them praise for everything we done been through. The feast of dedication.
It's the feast of dedication. 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 Feast of dedication. The feast of dedication is important. A memorial commitment, a devotion. See the history through our forefathers' eyes. First Maccabees 4:35. You see the heathen, they defile the altar. So
Hafapalau, the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
He's been so good. He's been so good. Yahweh Shai. His prophecy is coming. Oh, each and every day. So don't be scared. Just be prepared. Come and sing a song. I'm an hour Shabbat Shemayim Kodash I'm so glad you choose us. You choose His
Shalom, Israel, Shalom. First, giving all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Hamashem like Hawashai. The world you know is Yahweh as God. The world you know is Yahweh Shai as Jesus. Hamashiach will be the Christ, and all praises to the Most High, man. So I know you see the title of the lesson, Rededicate Your Temple, right? Because as we keep approaching and get closer and closer, as we inching day by day to the Shabbat, we're getting closer and closer to the actual rededication of the temple of Israel, right? So I haven't quite yet got to that portion of my lesson, which I'm going to do that one on the Shabbat, but I'm just bringing out things that actually get us prepared, right? Because when you're doing something, you don't just jump right into it, right? You got to kind of get warmed up, got to kind of get your spirit together, right? You got to kind of do what the Most High tell you to do, right? You got to be meek and humble. Then you got to rededicate yourself, right? And each day, as we get closer to the rededication, we actually are getting ourselves prepared, right? Mentally, physically, and also spiritually, right? So all that being said, I'm going to get my opening precept, and I'm going to get right into it. My opening precept is going to come from the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 10. The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 10. Right? The book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 10 through the Spirit. And it reads, we have an altar whereof they have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle. Right? So, hey, we know what that altar is. That altar is Yahushua, man. We don't have no right to eat, which serve the tabernacle, right? Because, hey, that altar got the real blood on it, man. Right? And it says, verse 11, for the bodies of those beasts whose blood is brought unto the sanctuary by the high priest for sin are burned without the camp. Wherefore Yahushua also, that he might sanctify the people with his own blood, suffered without the gate. Let us go forth therefore unto him without the camp, bearing his reproach. For here have we not continuing city, but we seek one to come. By him, therefore, let us offer the sacrifice of praise to Yahweh continually. That's that burnt offering that's in Leviticus, right? That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. So, hey, that's how we continually give the praise and the worship to the Most High continually. We got to literally bless the Most High, right? Through Yahweh Shai, man. So with that being said, let's get that first precept. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. To the Spirit. It's the book of Romans, chapter 12 and verse 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yahweh, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice. Right? So, hey, in that tabernacle, right, you got to present your body as that righteous sacrifice. Right? Hey, and let's see what kind of sacrifice has to be. Holy, which is set apart, acceptable unto Yahweh, which is your reasonable service. So your service that's reasonable is literally the low end. Your low end service is you make yourself acceptable, right? And you got to be cleansed, man, by the washing of the water by the word, man, right? Verse 2, and it says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. So, hey, you got to be transformed by renewing your spirit, renewing your mind, and making yourself a viable and respectable offering to the Most High. And how do you do that? By transforming your mind, transforming your spirit, walking after the Most High and not after the lust of your spirit, man. I mean, of your flesh, right? Let's put that up in the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13 in the New King James, right? 1 Peter chapter 1, chapter 3, select chapter 1 and verse 13. Right? The book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 13. And it reads, therefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and rest your hope fully on the grace that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. Right? So, hey, he said that you got to rest. He said you got to rest. First, you got to gird up your loins of your mind, right? Then be sober, right? Being conscious. And then it says, rest your hope, hopefully, and rest your hopefully upon the grace that is to be brought to you at the revelation of Yahushua HaMashiach. So we hope that the grace is brought to you. Verse 14, as obedient children, not conforming yourselves to the form of lust as in your ignorance, right? Because when we were ignorant, hey, we kind of was dealing with our own lust, right? We kind of was dealing with fornication, right? And that fornication is of other idols, right? Dealing with other doctrines, dealing with Caesarea bowl biscuit with cheese, man, right? We weren't dealing with the Most High and through Yahushua, right? We weren't dealing with the law because we thought that the law was done away with. But that's the instruction. How can the law be done away with, but yet you're going to run around lawless? Verse 15, it said, but as he who called you is holy, right? So, hey, Yahweh is holy. It says, you also be holy in all your conduct, because it is written, be holy, for I am holy. So the Most High literally told us, hey, you got to be holy because he is holy. He's perfect. Be set aside because he's set aside, right? Verse 17, it says, and if you call on the Abba, who without partiality judges according to each one's work. Conduct yourself throughout the time of your stay here in fear. So, hey, you got to operate in fear, man. You got to operate in the knowledge and the understanding of the Most High, right? Because, hey, he said, fearing the Most High is the beginning of being accepted of him. So if you don't operate in fear, hey, the Most High don't accept you. It says, verse 18, knowing that you were not redeemed with corruptible things like silver or gold from your aimless conduct received by tradition from your fathers, right? Because we know that all the elders back in the days, man, hey, they were keeping the traditions of elders, man, washing pots and pans. But they was telling you that, hey, you don't have to honor your mother and your father. Keeping the commandment of men, man. It says, verse 19, but the precious blood of a Mashiach as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. Because, hey, we know that we were purchased by that lamb, that only lamb that was perfect, that never sinned, according to the scriptures. Verse 20, he said, he indeed was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you. So he wasn't manifest for everybody. I know, you know, in the last days, there's been a lot of different doctrines coming out. A lot of people been saying their own things. But according to the scriptures, it literally just said that, hey, he was foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, Yasharallah. Verse 21, who through him believed in Yahweh, who raised him from the dead and gave him glory, so that your faith and hope are in Yahweh, man. So you got to have your hope and your faith in Yahweh, right? You got to have all your being and your end all and be all in Yahweh, man. When you're going through everything, right, you got to start putting your trust and faith in Yahweh, right? Because, hey, what happened to Peter? Peter got out the ship. He said, hey, if it's you, Yahweh Shai, hey, let me walk to you. And he said, come. Then as soon as he got halfway there, what happened? The wind started going, which, hey, was indicative of, hey, the cares of this world. That's what happens. Things start happening, not going your way, right? You got to work extra hours, got to pick up a second job, right? Things ain't going well at home. So what? You're going to say, well, the hell with the Most High? The hell with Yahweh Shai? I'm just going to go back to the world. Right? I got a quick precept, man. Right? Because, hey, I love the scriptures, man, because the scriptures tell us how to conduct ourselves, man. Right? And I love the scriptures, man. Right? Right? Matthew 6:33 through the Spirit. Matthew 6:33. Oh, praises to the Most High. I love when Yahweh Shai speak, because that's Yahweh speaking. Right? He said, I didn't come to speak for myself, but the Father who sent me. Right? This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 33. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh. So I don't give a damn about mother, father, sister, uncle, cousin, nobody. It says, seek ye first the kingdom of Yahweh. So that's what you got to seek first. No, nobody else. Not work, not your own salvation, man. Right? It says, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So, hey, that's what you got to seek, man. And how do you seek it? You got to have your temple clean, man. You got to kind of come with him in spirit and in truth. You got to come with him on one accord with him, man. Let's pick it up in Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. And it reads, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above. Right? Because, hey, everybody said they love Yahweh Shai. Everybody said that they love the Messiah, man. But if you love the Messiah, right, then it said be risen with him. Change your life. Walk as he walked. Real quick, let me get a quick precept. So a lot of people say they love Yahweh Shai. But then when the goings gets tough, nobody wants to do what the Most High told them to do. And now they want to kind of follow their own way. And hey, that following your own way is going to get you put to damn death. Yourself, Yahweh, excuse my French. Right? It's the book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 4. He that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar. and the truth is not in him. But whoso keepeth his word, in him verily is the love of Yahweh perfected. Hereby know that we know we are in him. He that saith he abideth in him, or himself also so to walk even as he walked. So, hey, if you saying that you love Yahweh Shai, and you saying that, hey, Yahweh Shai is in you, and you doing the will of the Most High, then, hey, you got to walk like Yahweh Shai. If you're not walking like him, hey, I'm just being real. According to the scriptures, he said, you're a liar and the Most High truth is not in you. So let's go back to Colossians chapter 3. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, right? So, hey, if you know him and you got to walk like he walked, it says, seek those things which are above. That's what Yahweh Shai was seeking. Yahweh Shai wasn't seeking these things that was carnal. Yahweh Shai never prayed for a car, a donkey, right? He never prayed for an oxen or a camel. No, he says, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth, right? So, hey, if you love the Most High, man, then you need to set your love and affection on the things above, man. Right, let's get a quick precept. 1 John 2 and 15, right? The book of 1 John chapter 2 and verse 15. And it reads, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him, right? So, hey, he's going to give you a detailed description of those things that are in the world that our people say that they're walking like them, like we said earlier in this chapter. But, hey, are you really? Watch this. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, right? It says, and the lust of the eyes. Uh-oh, here we go. And the pride of life, right? It says, it's not of the Father, but it's of the world. So, hey, if you're running around and you got pride on you, you're not of the Father, man. Public service announcement, right? Verse 17, and the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of Yahweh abideth forever. So, hey, if you're obedient to the Most High and you doing what the Most High told you, hey, you're going to abide forever. But like he said, hey, there's a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof is the way of death, right? So let's pick up Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. It's the book of Colossians chapter 3 and verse 2. It says, set your affection on things above, not on things on the earth. For ye are dead, and your life is hid with Hamashiach in Yahweh. So, hey, he said that, hey, your life is hid with Hamashiach. So if your life is hid in Hamashiach, in Yahweh, then, hey, you're dead to this world. So that means that, hey, you got to kind of convert over to the way that Yahweh Shai walked, man. Like I brought out in 1 John 2 and 6. Verse 4, it says, when Hamashiach, who is your life. So, hey, if you're walking like Hamashiach, then, hey, you got life. But if you're not walking like Hamashiach, hey, you got death. It's simple. It says, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. So, hey, if you're doing the things that your life told you to do, and you're going to appear in glory with him. So you're going to rise to everlasting glory in life, or everlasting contempt and shame, man. Verse 5, it says, mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth. Watch, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry. So usually when the Most High clumps things like this all together, it literally is that last portion, which is idolatry, right? And so let's see what that fornication is, just to prove it to you, right? Colossians 3 and 5. Real quick through the Spirit. Real quick through the Spirit.
Strong's G 4202. Parnaya. Parnaya.
Pornaya, right? Right? It says illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. Sexual intercourse with close relatives, Leviticus 18. Sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, Mark 10 and 12, 11 and 12. Or metaphorically speaking, the worship of idols, right? Because, hey, I did a lesson on the Shabbat, right? That, hey, when you don't listen to the Most High, you put yourself as an idol. It says, of the defilement of idolatry as incurred by eating sacrifices offered to idols, right? So it literally goes into idol worship, right? So let's go back real quick. It's the book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 5. It says, mortify therefore your members, which are upon the earth, fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness, which is idolatry, right? Get away from the idolatry, Yasharala. And so it's for which things sake the wrath of Yahweh cometh on the children of disobedience. So, hey, he's literally letting you know that, hey, when you do those things, when you actually don't listen to the Most High, and you kind of walk contrary to the Most High, hey, he said he's going to bring his wrath upon you because you're disobedient, right? Verse 7, it says, in the which ye also walked some time when you lived in them, but now ye also put off all these: anger, wrath, malice, blasphemy, filthy communication out of your mouth. So literally he's letting you know that, hey, all these things are off, right? If you can't control your anger, you got wrath, malice. He put that with blasphemy and filthy communication, right? Verse 9, he says, lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds. So he literally said that, hey, you got to put all your old ways off. So the things you used to do, null and void. You got to put them away, and you got to cleanse your spirit, man. You got to kind of rededicate your temple to the Most High, or get your temple put to death, right? Either way, right? Verse 10, it says, and have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. Hey, and that's a pure mind, pure of heart, right? So you got to kind of change your ways, man. Got to kind of be like the Most High, right? So I'm going to get 2 Corinthians 5 and 13 in the NLT. 1 Corinthians 5 and 13 in the NLT. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 5 and verse 13 in the NLT. And it reads, it says, Yahweh will judge those on the outside, but as the scriptures say, you must remove the evil person from among you, right? 2 Corinthians, Salakia. 2 Corinthians 5 and 13 in the NLT, right? And it reads, if it seems we are crazy, it is to bring glory to Yahweh. So, hey, we'll make ourselves fools for Yahweh's sake, man. It says, and if we are in our right minds, it is for your benefit. It says, either way, Hamashiach's love controls us. Since we believe that Hamashiach died for all, we also believe that we have all died to our old life. So, hey, we got to kind of crucify ourselves. He said, kill the old man daily, man. You got to kind of change yourself, man. You can't keep on walking like you were before you came in this truth. You got to become that new creature, right? Verse 15. He says, he died for everyone so that those who receive his new life will no longer live for themselves. Instead, they will live for Hamashiach, who died and was raised for them. So, hey, Yahushua was raised for us, man. So, hey, and to show Yahushua that you truly are thankful that he died for us, you got to kind of change yourself, man. You got to kind of renew yourself, right? You got to kind of love the Most High through Yahushua and by the way you are, right? Verse 16, it says, so we have stopped evaluating others from a human point of view. At one time, we thought of Hamashiach merely from a human point of view. Now, differently, we know him now, right? Because now we see him from the spiritual aspect. We no longer are fleshly, right? Because, hey, the flesh stops us from things that we want to do, right? Verse 17, It says this means that anyone who belongs to a Mashiach has become a new person. The old life is gone and a new life has begun, man. So hey, you gotta kind of, remember that you done changed, man. Right? Hey, let me get a precept, man. Right? Because hey, at the end of the day, right? Hey, we gotta change, man. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 17. Book of Matthew chapter 9 and verse 17 through the Spirit. It's the book of Matthew chapter 9. And I'm gonna start at verse 16. It says, no man putteth a new piece of cloth unto an old garment, for that which is put in to fill it up taketh from the garment. So you're not gonna take an old, filthy, raggedy garment and kind of put it on a new Passover garment or a new dedication garment or a garment in general. It says, and the rent is made worse. So you kind of made that garment even worse than what it was. It says, neither do men put new wine into old bottles. He said, neither do you put new understanding into your old body, man. It said, else the bottles break and the wine runneth out and the bottles perish. But they put new wine into new bottles and both are preserved. Right? So, hey, you got to kind of change yourself, man. You got to kind of put the Most High new spirit in the new body, man, in a new way you're thinking, in a new temple. You can't kind of rededicate the temple and you got swine's flesh all over the temple. It makes absolutely no sense. It's despicable, and the Most High is not going to accept any of your offerings, man. Right? So that's crazy. But hey, all praise to the Most High. Now we understand that we have to rededicate ourselves, or else the Most High is not going to deal with us. So let's pick it up in the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. It's the book of 2 Peter, chapter 2 and verse 9. And it reads, Yahweh knoweth how to deliver the godly out of temptations. So, hey, if you depend on the Most High, if you don't lean on your own understanding and seek ye first the kingdom and all of its righteousness, hey, the Most High will deliver you out of temptations, out of diverse lusts, out of when times is hard, out of when you see no way out of a situation. He says, and do reserve the unjust until the day of judgment to be punished. So the Most High kind of keep the unjust just to that day so he can raise them up to put them to death. Right? Verse 10. It says, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Hey, if you despise the way of the Most High, if you devise divine order and discipline, it says, presumptuous are they, self-willed, they are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. Right? So real quick, let's look up that word, self-willed. Right?
Willed.
Willed, right? It says having a specified level of determination. I need self-willed. It says self-willed. It says refers to a person who is determined to do things their own way. I'm going to reread that. Self-willed. It says refers to a person who is determined to do things their own way, often stubbornly or independently, regardless of advice or guidance. So, hey, let's go back to that precept, right? Hey, it's crazy. It's the book of 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 10. It says, but chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness. So you walking after the flesh in an unclean way. It says, and you despise government, you despise rulership, right? It says, presumptuous are they, self-willed they are not, afraid to speak evil of dignities, right? And dignities will be the power, right? The one that actually is on rulership, which would be like a king or like a prince, kind of like Yahushua, right? Right. So let's go to James chapter 4 and verse 5 in the NLT. Right. It's the book of St. James, chapter 4 and verse 5 in the NLT. And it reads, what do you think the scriptures mean when they say that the spirit Yahweh has placed within us is filled with envy? And what do you think that means, man? And Yahweh hates when we deal with idolatry, man. Right? Real quick, let me go to quick precepts, man. Because it's crazy. Hey, the Most High is something else, man. Real quick. Right, Exodus 34 and 14. Right, because hey, the Most High literally, and he hates when we don't listen, man. Right? Exodus chapter 34 and verse 14. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 14. And it reads, for thou shalt worship no other power, right? Because he literally was just talking about idolatry, right? Fornication, which is worshiping other gods. It says, for Yahweh, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power, right? So that's what he was talking about when he was talking about in James, man. Right? So let's bring this back out. It says, this is the book of James, chapter 4, verse 5 in the NLT. It says, what do you think the scriptures mean when they say that the spirit Yahweh has placed within us is filled with envy? And it means that he's jealous, man. He hates when we worship anybody or put anybody above him. Right, verse 6, it says, but he gives us even more grace to stand against such evil desires, as the scriptures say. Yahweh opposes the proud, but favors the humble. Why do we oppose the proud? Right, because the proud don't care about the Most High. Although the proud thinks that, oh, I'm worshiping the Most High, right? Hey, I love the Most High. I got the Most High first. Hey, he said, I will put a stumbling block in front of thee. The Most High will do that, right? But hey, to each be their own, right? Verse 7, it says, so humble yourselves before Yahweh, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Come close to Yahweh, and Yahweh will come close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, which is your mind, for your loyalty is divided between Yahweh and the world. Hey, so he's letting you know that, hey, you kind of got a split mindset, man. You kind of got one foot in, you kind of lukewarm, you kind of one foot out. Got a little double-minded mind going on, man. Verse 9, it said, let there be tears for what you have done. Let there be sorrow and deep grief. Let there be sadness instead of laughter, and gloom instead of joy. It says, humble yourselves before Yahweh, and he will lift you up in honor. So, hey, he's letting you know, hey, you got to humble yourself, or he'll put you to death, man. All right, so let's pick it up in the book of 1 Corinthians 6 and 15. Right? It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 15. And it reads, It says, know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahushua of Hamashiach? Shall I then take the members of a Mashiach and make them the members of an harlot? Yahweh forbid. Right? Because what does that mean, man? What does it mean should you take that member of Yahweh of a Mashiach and make it the members of a harlot, man? Let's find out real quick, man. Right? Once again, same thing we just looking at.
Strong's G 4204. Parne. Parne.
Porne, right? Porne. And it says a woman who sells her body for sexual uses, a prostitute, a harlot, one who yields herself to defilement for the sake of gain. Any woman indulged in unlawful sexual intercourse, whether for gain or for lust, or metaphorically, an idolatress, right? A Babylon, i.e. Rome, the chief seat of idolatry, right? So it's literally going into idolatry, man. So if he's saying if you're making the members of your body into a harlot, it's literally just going into idolatry, right? So now understanding that, let's go back to the scriptures, man. It's the book of Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 15. It says, know ye not that your bodies are the members of Hamashiach? Shall I then take the members of Hamashiach and make them the members of an harlot? Yahweh forbid. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to a harlot is one body? Right? So hey, if you worshiping idolatry, right, then that makes you a worshiper of Satan. It says, for two saith he shall be one flesh, but he that is joined unto Yahweh is one spirit. So we are one mind, one body, and one spirit, right? So it says what? 6:18. It says, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body. So every sin that you do, and you literally flee the body of a Mashiach. It says, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. Means you're going to get put to death, man. Verse 19. It says, what? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, which ye have of Yahweh, and ye are not of your own? For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glory Yahweh in your body and in your spirit, which are Yahweh's. So, hey, you were bought with a price, Yasharala. So, regardless what you feel, regardless what you think, regardless whatever your body or your mind is telling you, hey, you're gonna get put to death if you continue your ways, man. That's why you have to continue to rededicate your temple daily, man. Right? Let's go to St. John chapter 2 and verse 11. St. John chapter 2 and verse 11. It's the book of St. John chapter 2 and verse 11. And it says, this beginning of miracles did Yahweh shine in Cana of Galilee and manifest forth his glory. And his disciples believed on him. It says, after this, he went down to Capernaum. It says, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples, and they continued there not many days. And the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Yahweh went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and the changers of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables. Right? So if you don't know this account, this is when Yahweh was going to the temple, right? Right before he got put to death. When he got crucified. Right? And when he went to the temple, they were literally making merchandise of the Father's house. So he kind of made a scourge with small cords and kind of whoop them and kind of overthrew tables, man. So people keep thinking that Yahweh was just this loving, got the sheep on one side, got the lion on the other side, and kind of just loving on everything and kissing everything. No, he was overthrowing tables and making a scourge, man. Let me show you what a scourge is. Uh, so when Yahushua had made a scourge, a small little edges, right? It looked like this, man. It's what you kind of, you know, do with a scourge, man. Kind of whip them things, man. So that's what Yahushua kind of made through the Spirit. Kind of made a scourge, right? So this book of John, chapter 2 and verse 15. And he says, and when he made a scourge of small cords, he drove them all out of the temple, and the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money, and overthrew the tables, and said unto them that so does, take these things hence, make not my father's house the house of merchandise. Hey, so he was like, hey, why'd you take him and making my father's house a wicked house, man? Watch this, verse 17. And the disciples remember that it was written, the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, what sign showest thou unto us, seeing that thou doest these things? Yahushua answered and said unto them, destroy this temple in 3 days, and in 3 days I will raise it up. Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building, and wilt thou rear it in 3 days? So, hey, he was talking in a parable, a dark saying, man, but they didn't understand what he was saying. Verse 21 says, but he spake of the temple of his body. So, hey, even Yahushua was letting you know that, hey, you got to rededicate your temple, man. Right? He said, rear up your own temple, which means rededicate your temple. Verse 22, it says, when therefore he was risen from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this unto them, and they believed the scripture and the word which Yahushua had said. Right? So, hey, it was in their heart, man. Why? Because, hey, he was literally telling them a future prophecy. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16 as I begin to land this plane, man. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 16. And it reads, it says, know ye not that ye are the temple of Yahweh, and that the spirit of Yahweh dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of Yahweh, him shall Yahweh destroy. For the temple of Yahweh is holy, which temple you are. So, hey, the Most High literally said, hey, if you defile it, how do you defile the temple? Hey, not keeping the commandments, man. Not doing the will of the Most High. Doing your own lusts. Performing your own deeds. Not keeping the instruction of the Most High. Right? Hey, he said he's going to put you to death, man. Right? So let's go to 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4 in the NLT. It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4 in the NLT. Right? It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, ye are coming to Hamashiach, who is the living cornerstone of Yahweh's temple. Right? So, hey, you're coming to Hamashiach. He's that chief cornerstone, man. He is that cornerstone in which you should build your temple on. It says he was rejected by people, but he was chosen by Yahweh for great honor. So, hey, Yahushua said, hey, they're going to hate you, but remember they first hated me. So if people don't want to listen to you and understand that, hey, you don't come in your own words and your own way, hey, remember Yahushua said they're going to hate you because they first hated me. Right? Because, hey, if you're only saying the Most High words, he said, hey, I know your spirit. I know man's spirit. So, hey, in that day, you're going to know. Right? So, verse 5, it says, and you are the living stones that Yahweh is building into his spiritual temple. Hey, so you're those stones that Yahweh is going to build in those temples, man. It says, What's more, ye are his holy priests. Through the meditation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, you offer spiritual sacrifices that please Yahweh. As the scriptures say, I am placing a cornerstone in Jerusalem, chosen for great honor, and anyone who trusts in him. So, hey, we got to put your trust in Yahweh Shai, man. No matter what man do, no matter what man say, no matter what they do to you, no matter if they listen or don't listen, it doesn't matter. As long as you know as you're coming in the spirit of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, don't worry about what the world's doing. Don't worry about what man think of you. Because, hey, in that day, he said, they're going to know real quick. Let me pull up a quick precept. Right? Real quick to explain. Right? It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, and verse. Let's see where we'll start at. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 33. Let's see. It's the book of Ezekiel 33 and 33. And it says, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come. Then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. So, hey, when the end comes, hey, the Most High is going to reveal everything. And then people will be like, dang, the Most High was using that brother. The Most High was using those people. But then, guess what? At that point, it's going to be much, much too late. So let's go back to 1 Peter. 1 Peter chapter 2, I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, as the scriptures say, I am placing a cornerstone in Jerusalem, chosen for great honor, and anyone who trusts in him will never be disgraced. Hey, and the trust you got to put in him is knowing that he taught a perfect way, according to what the Most High told him to teach, right? And once you know that he did that and you trust in him, that's having faith. He said, because without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. So I can. Verse 7, it says, yes, you who trust him recognize the honor Yahweh has given him. But for those who reject him, and for those that don't listen, those that don't actually honor that the Most High have raised people up and have shown them that he's using them, it says, the stone that the builders rejected has now become a cornerstone, right? So, like he said, they're not only rejecting you, they're rejecting the one who sent you, right? It says, he is the stone that makes people stumble. Hey, I'm going to reread that, man, because, hey, that was on my lesson yesterday. The Most High will make a stumbling block. So you think you're going to be able to avoid that stumbling block if the Most High put it in your way? Absolutely not. It said, he is the stone that makes people stumble, the rock that makes people fall, that makes them fall. They stumble because they do not obey Yahweh's word. I'm going to reread that, man. It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 8. It says, and he is the stone that makes people stumble, the rock that makes them fall. They stumble because they do not obey Yahweh's word. And so they meet the fate that was planned for them. So, hey, they were meant to be new food, like my brother always say. Hey, they weren't meant to get it, right? According to Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 6, right? So I'm going to get the last two precepts, man. I'm going to close it out. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 1, man. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 1. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. I pray that, hey, our people got edified, man, through the Spirit. I'm nothing, man. I'm nothing. I'm just here trying the best I can, man. I'm nobody. I'm worse than dust and ashes. At my greatest state, I'm altogether vanity. But I'll bring that out, man, when I get done. It's the book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, behold, what manner of love Yahweh have bestowed upon us, that we should be called the sons of Yahweh. Therefore, the world knows us not because it knew him not. So, hey, if nobody want to listen to you, if nobody want to hearken to what you're speaking on the Most High, from the Most High, hey, he said, don't worry about it. He says, therefore, the world knoweth us not because it knew him not. Right? Verse 2, it says, beloved, now are we the sons of Yahweh, and it doeth not yet appear that we shall be. But we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. So, and we're going to see Yahweh the way he is, right? Not like, you know what I'm saying, the goat, I mean the sheep and the lion, but we're going to see him in his glorified body, man. Right? Verse 3, it says, and every man that hath this hope in him purifieth himself, even as he is pure. So, hey, the Most High is purifying you at this very moment. Why? Because, hey, you know that he is pure and you're believing on him just the way the scripture said, man. Right? So I'm going to bring out my last precept and I'll begin to close out, man. Right? I pray that somebody got edified, whether they're watching it live or whether they're real rewatch it. All praises to the Most High, man. Whichever way. All I pray is that the Most High uses me. And hey, nobody watch. Hey, he said we got to prophesy to the wind. So all praises to the Most High. I pray that he put the spirit on me to even not be sluggish, man. Right? So this is the book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 31. Do we then make void the law through faith? Do we then make void the law through faith? Do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh forbid. Yea, we establish the law. Right? So, hey, giving all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach Malak Hawashai. Hey, I pray that our people get understanding. I pray that our people can watch this lesson, whether they watch it live or whether they're going to watch the recap, and that it can help their walk as we get closer to the Feast of Dedication. And with that being said, Kwam Yasha.